But the guys had a good sense of humour, so we had a good sense of humour, and that kept us through a lot of it.
Did you say the guys or the guards?
The guys,
Oh,
well, to be honest, towards the end, some of the guards we had a bit of a rapport with. We developed some time and things you have to do to sort of stay alive. They got us some tea and sugar, and they were open to sort of, if we can get cigarettes, we could barter with them and get some stuff. So generally, but the guys had a good sense of humour
hmm,
all the way through, and that sort of humour, that black humour, keeps you going, even in the worst times. So
yeah. Oh, mate, and you said that you knew fairly early on they wanted to swap you for Victor Medvedchuk. Uh,
yeah, that's right.
right, I
They
didn't know you knew earlier.
Yeah, we knew quite quickly into when we were captured, they wanted to swap us. We were made to ring the Foreign Office of the UK, do an appeal message to Boris Johnson. But generally, they told me straight away that we want to swap you for Victor Medvedchuk. And his wife was actually, we watched a video from his wife, and they showed us that. And then we saw her appealing, mention our names, and we had to then start appealing to be swapped for Victor Medvedchuk. So we knew that quite early, which again gave me hope and positivity really about getting exchanged. Um, so
Right.
yeah, so then we were dealing with the same guys, but they were okay. They would give us cigarettes and water, and they knew we were suffering at that first prison. They knew we were malnourished, we weren't eating. But these guys were the guys that were getting us to call home, so we couldn't do anything. And they were quite reasonable. They were helping us help them. So, if we wanted to get home, they were explaining to us that, we need your help to get you home. And it was quite interesting how they were working the British media as well. So they were working the British media, so they'd ask questions and get to ask questions, and then watch the British media do all the dirty work and send it back, and they'd read every article that was printed about you, every single one. And if they weren't happy with something, they'd come and talk to you again, but in reference to what was in the article.
Yeah.
So they were using like British press to find information about people, which was quite interesting.
And did you ever strike up or overhear, I guess, conversation about what they thought of the conflict?
Well, yeah, they were generally, if you spoke to one guy or maybe two, you could have a conversation. They'd be interested in what London was like. You could have some dialogue with them. Why'd you come? And they're interested in your life. Oh, for me, they were a bit more understanding than me because I could speak Russian for starters. I could get by. And then also I was married to Ukrainian. So generally I wasn't like the guy who joined up after the war to come to get his adrenaline kicks and start fighting Russians. It wasn't that for me. They were quite understanding, surprisingly, that I was a part of Ukraine and I'd been there for a long time and lived in Mariupol, lost my house. And generally we struck up a good relationship at that second prison with some guards and trustees that helped us get stuff like sandals and clothes and things like this we needed. They helped us get. So but if you got a group of them, three, maybe, four people, they all talk pro Donetsk. They hate Ukraine. The war is justified. Everything's Peter, faggot, faggot. The words they use out there to describe Ukrainians. But yeah, they're constantly, you couldn't talk to them because they were just so pro Russia. It was bad. No one wanted to be seen to be sort of questioning the conflict at all. But when you got them, like I said, on their own or with another guy, they're generally quite interesting. One guy took a selfie with me in the prosecutor's office. So the prosecutor's prosecutor's in there, and you can't write this, and he's got like an understudy, like a apprentice type guy in there. And the prosecutor goes out, and the guy looks at me, and he speaks reasonable English, and he says, "Can I take a selfie?" And I'm thinking, well, if it gets out on social media, that's good for me. People are going to see me. He's going to see his face. And I'm thinking, yeah, go on, then we'll take a video. Why do you want to take a selfie? He said, no, I'm interested. You're the first English person I've ever met. And I was like, so he asked me lots of questions. And at the end of it, he says, "Can I have a?" So we took a selfie, and there was a picture of him and me that he showed me. He said, "What do you think of that?" And there's a picture of him going, and there's a picture of me going, you know. And I was thinking, if that gets out, I'd love to see that again. But he was just generally interested in. I never saw him again, but he just gave me a cigarette, said thanks, and made me a cup of tea, and never saw him again. But I thought if it gets out, people are going to see I'm alive. Because at that point, I didn't know. You know, people thought I was dead, and they told me that they told everybody I was dead. So they'd taken pictures of my passport and put deceased on it. They showed me the information that they'd sent out. So it was it just still doesn't seem real. I'm back really after all that. But yeah.
And did you witness any of these? Oh, sorry, you can say it.
Sorry?
No, you go.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, got a delay. Mariupol was the only real sort of thing I'm looking to sort of talk about with my friends and with some counselling and stuff, just to make sure that there is no hidden, because we still get, because I was British, we get a lot of pictures taken with us by people. I can't even remember the pictures being taken by these guys, you know, and wives and girlfriends are constantly see me and say, we love you home and congratulations, but do you know anything about this guy? And there's a picture of me standing next to him, and I can't remember, you know, a lot of the guys I meet. And it's very, very sort of, I've got better at dealing with that now. But when I got back, it was just, I'm just flooded with people saying, do you know what happened to him? Do you know what happened to him? Do you know? And some good news I'd had to give and some bad news I'd had to give. You know, and we've made some people's day saying, you know, last time I saw him was April, he's very much alive, you know, and we've made some people very happy, you know, but obviously we know some bad ones as well. So, and that's still very hard to deal with because we still get it now.